The problem isn't recognizing that religion and politics can mix or can influence each other in some way, like evangelicals, or at least white evangelicals, vote more for Trump, and Baptists, or more likely black Baptists, tend to vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, progressionally or not progressionally. The problem is if you think that religion and politics are the exact same thing. To understand what I'm talking about, I'm going to look over a video of Gothix.
What we're seeing today is another religion communicating another meta narrative and another worldview.
Apparently, stupidity, respectfully, or not respectfully, to be blunt. For some weird reason, conservatives, like, I don't know, if you can look at it, I'm assuming you can somewhat. Not be the best looking, but I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. You had George Floyd, I think Stalin, and a lot of other communist-like figures. So I guess for their mindset is saying something that was unjust via the killing of or murder of George Floyd is, or say was, communist, apparently. I don't think that's how that works. And this isn't religion, it's called a political movement. This is mainly talking about BLM, if I'm correct, and things of that nature, and racial justice. That's not a religion, that's just a movement, a political movement. And yes, there might be some, you can see similarities, but that doesn't mean that they're the same. Inspiring philosophy has been kind of really digging into that. Like, some people think that the Gospels in the Bible apparently were just copying Greco-Roman like mythology. It's like, yes, you can see similarities, but that doesn't mean it's the same thing. I think the saying that he said was a saying that he got from somebody else's recognizing the similarities is apologetics, but saying that that makes it the same is parallel mania. Yes, you can see some similarities, but that ultimately does not mean that the political movement of BLM is not some new religion, a new meta narrative. Which, listen, it's the Jordan Peterson effect, like saying basically the same thing. For example, I guess saying like Burger King is a fast food restaurant that is very fast paced with their food. It's a restaurant, if you will, or something like that. Or saying uh or saying like the theology of PSA is a Christian theological ideal of in Christianity, if you will. Basically saying basically nothing else. Meta narrative is like meta narrative. Like, okay, you just said it was religion. That's basically like a meta narrative. You did, like, it sounds like you're saying something intelligent. Like, wow, this guy's really saying something. But really, if you look at it, it's like, no, you just said the same thing but differently. So you gotta watch out for the Jordan Peterson effect.
And these murals are the stained glass windows of this new.
No, that's something called graffiti and art. Again, you can see similarities, but if you think that makes it the same, it's parallelmania. If you're gonna, sorry, I think the saying is if you recognize similarities, it's apologetics, but if you say that those similarities are the same, it's parallelmania. I forgot specifically, but that's basically what's going on here, and that's not what that is. You know, like again, you can see similarities, but it's like it's not the same. Just because it might feel the same to you, it's just not. And then here's a the typical, I have to say it, Christian apologetic argument. I think a lot of people have heard about this one. Get ready.
Every single person, no exceptions, worships something. Some people worship.
That I think here's the counter argument. You're muddying the waters and watering down the word worship. In a sense, you can say people are worshiping their phones, as in they're taking their time via in a internal critique of Christianity, but the word worship does not apply when people are maybe too much time in on their phones. So basically what I'm saying is if viewing the internal critique in Christianity or the view in Christianity, if you have more value of something than God, or you spend more time with something than God in a sensible way, or at least it seems like it's more important than God, for a Christian that is idolatry and you are worshipping that phone. But if you're not a Christian, not eternal critique there, if you spend a lot of time with your phone and not with God because you don't even believe in God, that is not idolatry in a sense. That is not worship in a sense, in their view. And sometimes this isn't worship. This is, again, a movement. People, in their eyes, in their opinion, have seen the light. Not a religious sense, but in a political sense. That too many black people are dying, and that's bad. At least the BLM movement. Now the organization, what was it, billion something mansion. It's like, yeah, I no, not the organization, no, but at least the movement was pretty good. It had some violent riots, yes, but most of them were actually peaceful to an extent. No fire here, folks. So I'm not doing what CNN did. Okay, that's how old this short is, if I'm correct. When that was still a big, huge meme to go around. Goodness.
Worship money, popularity, acceptance, their identity. What happened when people.
I do agree to an extent some people do worship their identity, but there's a difference between that and recognizing your identity. Which in this case I'm assuming is gender identity, which is not worshiping it if you recognize who you are. Even if you disagree with it, it's like that's not it. And that's the main thing here. We as Christians and conservatives, since I am still partially conservative, believe it or not, I do wear the red hat for a reason. No, it's not mainly. It's not for that. It's just differentiating my podcast and show. But point is, we gotta know what words mean and use them in the right context because it's just this is not working. This is obviously not working in a sense. Leading people to Christ or leading people to your own political ideology, which is not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
People said, I don't support Black Lives Matter. You're racist. You hate black people. They're protecting their God.
What God are they protecting? Sorry, do you know what the word God means, Gothix? Like, no, they're not protecting their God. They're just either being stupid or actually making a political point, which is not the same thing as protecting their God. Can you show me their God? Can you show me their altars? No, their altars are their rallies. No, that's called a rally. No, that's not church. Though I have to admit, MAGA idolatry, a Trump rally is like a church service. They're the same thing. In that case, yes, that's a religious thing there. That is idolatry there, MAGA idolatry. I wouldn't be surprised if it's basically a heresy at this point. It seems like there's a lot of people. It's like Gnosticism to an extent. It's basically what Timothy says that they deny the power thereof, though. They essentially they act godly but deny the power thereof. That is not what BLM's doing. That is what MAGA idolaters say. And when I say that, I'm saying that because they're most of them claim to be Christian, but yet they put Trump here and Jesus here, if not Trump a little bit over Jesus. There is literally a book called Trump, the Son of Man, the Son of God, which tries to say that Trump is the Son of Man, while Jesus Christ is the Son of God. MAGA idolatry.
They worship the idea that they are a black person, and as a result, throw all of their support behind a movement that worships their blackness. I remember.
I don't think that's how that works. It's just. Okay, so basically, in reality, he tries listening to reality respectfully, or not. Respectfully, respectfully, in a sense, in the human sense, yes. Maybe not in a reputation sense. Gotta be honest, Gothix, gotta be honest. Um, basically, as a black person, they want to be in a movement of BLM that's a political movement that recognizes the possible systemic, definitely systemic racism of black people and the killing of innocent young black men. That was the main thing, and then the organization kind of just destroyed it with a lot of their things with problematic stuff like destroying the nuclear family, which I get what it was trying to say. It was trying to say we need to go back to like a, it takes a village for raising children, but they use the wrong language, and it's like, yikes. There's like, yeah, that's why they took it down. And of course, billion something mansions, like, really? You care? You don't care. At least the organization. The movement, yeah, the organization, no. Which both of them are not religious in any way, really. Now, some people in it might be religious, and maybe in some cases they might have some idolatry. I have seen the sort of repeat after me prayers of BLM and things of that nature are bowing down, saying, "We're not worthy, black person, our white virginity." In that case, I can see that as a cult religious thing, a kind of an idolatry, especially if they claim to be Christian. Oh, my black, oh, I like this. Like, yeah, you got a point there, but that's like the fringe, which MAGA used to be the fringe, but sadly is now the mainstream. So yeah, that's not what's happening. Gothix, try again.
I remember talking to a friend that I used to know who said that he ended up going to the George Floyd site to kneel. Why? Why are you kneeling?
I think when most people kneeled, I forgot why. But yeah, in that case, I can see that as a little bit of your instance by worshiping a dead person, just like the classical Roman Catholics kiss the feet of dead saints statues. Like, yeah, that I can see. That I would agree with you, Gothics, but the movement is not religion. It's different. It's different.
You kneeling for this man? Why were the Democrats kneeling? That is a form of worship.
That is a form of worship in a sense. I do not know why they were kneeling. Maybe like you kneel in the cemetery, but you're not worshiping it. So maybe they were trying to be like in reverence, but it did look like some weird form of worship, some type of weird ancestral worship. Well, it was most likely one of the first religions, basically, that's still false, and Roman Catholics sadly still practice today. Ancestral or uh, royalty, or some type of status like worship, and not worshiping the only one true God, Jesus Christ, God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
I don't kneel for man. I kneel for God. So when someone says, "Oh, Christianity, that's a cult," what do you think this?
And I get what she's saying there, and I do agree, but I really want to know her opinions now on the legit mega idolatry cult now. I don't know where she stands there, but to encourage you, just make sure you know how words work. Make sure you know when somebody's doing the Jordan Peterson effect, and make sure to not necessarily just be disagreeable all the time. I disagree with Gothix on a lot of things, but in some things I said, yeah, that's true, while also not necessarily being like, yes, I'm with you all the way. All of it's a religion, which it isn't. So you just gotta know how to talk to somebody. You might think that this thing's a religion, and you just show them politely, hey, it's not, and this is why it's not. Hey, real quick, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, aka get saved, or if you're a backslider and want to rededicate your life to Christ, or if you want the baptism of the Holy Spirit with the evidence of speaking with tongues, those prayers are in the description down below.